What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Spanko back with YGO Tony on the channel. Now, if you guys didn't see, which you guys probably did see, LP got hit on the ban list, which indirectly, even though people think of Dragon Link all the time, hits Dragunity a decent amount.
It does. It does in its own very weird way.
So in today's video, Tony's going to be doing a post-ban list updated Dragunity deck profile.
All right. So people, when you think of a deck that got hit by LP banning, it was probably not going to be Dragunity. By far, Dragon Link is the deck that's been hurt the most. Not necessarily by LP either, but by the fact that Striker Dragon 1-1.
Yep.
But LP does do a big impact for a lot of decks. In Dragunity, you may notice that a lot of the combos, especially near the end of my combo, you'd make a LP to summon out a dragon like something like a Goliath or a Red MD from your deck to build further combos. Without that LP, it means you no longer can play nearly as much outside dragon support as you could before, because now you have to pretty much have that dragon support naturally synergize with your deck, otherwise it's a brick in any other scenario. And as a result of that, you have to modify the deck to work less with random dragons and more on the Dragunity side. And that produces some interesting combos, so this is what we got here.
Alright, let's get into it.
We still have our 3 Senatus, the 1 Dux. Senatus still lets you equip from the deck your Dragunity tuner, so it's a much better setup than Dux. But Dux is decent because you don't have to discard a card like Senatus to equip a Dragunity monster from your graveyard. And in most cases, you're using this either as a follow-up play, or more than likely because you just open a Dragunity tuner, you want to search into this, and you just don't want to discard any cards. From there, we still have 2 Legatus. We actually had 3 Legatus last time. We had 2. After testing, I quickly realized that despite the fact that Legatus is a great extender, you do kind of brick with it if you open multiple, so 2 is good as it is. The idea is that realistically, you're also probably not going to be able to set up a synchro as easily with this card, but it does let you do some link plays as well to go into something like Romulus, and that's the reason why you play 2.
Okay.
We still have R3 Remus as our major searcher for the deck. This searches into Dragon Vein. That's the real important part of this card. It also has a nice effect, which it special summons itself from the graveyard if you control a Dragunity monster, which actually can be really useful because it does put up an additional level 2 tuner. It can only be used for a Dragunity Synchro monster, which means it is limited, but that doesn't link itself to the link option of this card. And it banishes itself when it leaves the field if it summons itself that way. And that is actually going to be relevant coming up. We still have our 3 Phalanx, and we also have the 1 Koos. We used to be playing 2, now we're playing 1. The reason is because Koos, like Remus, only locks yourself into Dragunity Synchro monsters, of which you really have 1 that you want to end with. Okay. And in most cases, you were using these cards because you wanted to go into your Dragon Link plays. But with now 1 less LP, you really have less reason to make some of these plays that really promote Koos's use at multiple.
Okay.
So you're playing the 1 Koos because when you need it, you're using it to probably make Barca. So when you need it, you're setting yourself up for it. But you're not playing multiple where you really doesn't do anything outside of making something like a Barca or a Rita Bear.
Yeah, Phalanx is just way more useful.
Phalanx is by far more superior, especially just as a synchro climbing option. We then still have our 3 Mistletoe. Mistletoe still acting as our way of just tributing a random Dragunity to equip special summon onto the field to equip one of our dragons.
Yep.
Good level 8 or just as level synchro options. We still have the 1 Arma Levitine. This is a card that we will summon off of our Irada King of a Tomb as a way of that we recur over and over again to either set up a Buster Lock or to just randomly equip and put more monsters on the field.
Okay.
Then we have a new one in our 1 Armagram, Dragunity Armagram, as well as the Tempest because they're related in their both way. Both these monsters can be summoned by banishing 2 dragons or wind. This one banishes Winged Beast, this one banishes Winds, which in this case is
pretty much a lot of
Dragunities. Yeah.
Okay.
So both these cards can special summon themselves that way, essentially being extra bodies. This one actually has an additional nice effect where it lets you target 1 monster on the field and negate its effects, and then drop its attack by 1,000 for each card equipped.
Yep.
Which makes it great going second. And Tempest has a nice effect where if it's banished, in some situations off of something like Armagram, you search for a Wind Dragon, which can be really useful because, yes, it means then it's an easy way to get into something like your Remus, which gets you into Dragon Ravine, which gets you into the rest of your deck. So, yeah, you're playing both of these for that reason. Realistically, though, this one's just more of a beater all the times, though. Sometimes you use it just as a great follow play because after your first turn, you're probably burning out most of your actual offense.
Yep.
And then sometimes you just have to go blood simple, summon out a bunch of beaters, and just hit for home.
Yeah, 2,900 is pretty big.
Yeah. From there, we then still have our 3 Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, obviously, on the scale, can blow itself up to summon back any Dragon, Synchro, Xyz, or Fusion monster, which is great for bringing back your Dragunity Synchro monsters. In the hand, it discards itself to search for any level 8 or lower Dragon Pendulum monster, which can be used to search into your 1 Dark Worm. But we're also playing an additional target in our 1 Chaos Emperor, the something of Armageddon. Name too long. This effect is somewhat interesting. First off, the first effect is if it's in the scale, you could blow itself up by paying 1,000 life to then add any banished dragon from your graveyard.
That's really important. Any banished dragon. Doesn't have to be a chaos dragon. Doesn't have to be darker light.
It just has to be a banished dragon. What does that mean? It means it turns your Arma Levantine and your Tempest here into basically recursion. You banish a dragon from your graveyard, then you activate this, blow it up, add it back to your hand. It's also extra nice because when you summon out Remus and then you using its own effect, and then you Synchro Link it away, it gets banished, which means it's also an eligible target to be brought back off of your Armageddon as well. And then once it's back in your hand, because in some cases you're summoning it from the deck, you can then discard it to grab Dragon Ravine as well. This also combos really well in a lot of situations where you can banish something with something like a Trishula, Icy Dragon Imprisonment, essentially turning this into a Searcher too. And the fact that it's searchable off of that makes this a little more consistent, so you don't have to play 3. Now, in terms of actually summoning the card itself, you do in your combo put down a light and a dark, because your dark will be your remaining guard dragon, and your light will most likely be something like your spheres or your Buster Whelp, which will then can also be banished to summon this out as an additional body, which makes it essentially just also decent synergy there as well. Finally, we still have our 2 Mist Valley Baby Rock. Decent card. If it's discarded from your hand, when it's discarded from your hand, you could special summon it. So it does miss timing, but it's mostly to work with your Gay Dirk.
Yep.
You have the 1 Blackwing, Zephyros the Elite, and we have the 1 Buster Lock. Now, some people would advocate playing in some form or way the Amorphage Lock, which is consisting of a Goliath and a Sloth. Well, unfortunately, at this given situation, you can't actually play that because you can't find a decent way to summon out the Goliath and still get the Letri on board in the same combo without Elpie. So now this is our one-stop access to locking our opponent out of the extra deck. Going into spells, we have our 3 Dragon Ravine, still searches into a Dragunity monster that are level 4 or lower, or dumps dragons, which again now allows you to dump things like Tempest and Graham, which can then bring themselves back. So there's the options that way for just basic beatdown as well. We have the 2 Dragunity Glow, which searches for any level 5 or higher Dragunity monster. I did showcase the combo using its second effect as well. Yep. But now, thanks to the fact that we're playing Armagram, it now switches into a random beater that is negation as well. We have the 1 Dragunity Lance, just for another extender. We have the 1 Monster Reborn, Revival. We have the 1 Called by the Grave for Hand Trap Hate. We have the 1 Terraforming to grab into our Dragon Ravine as well. We also have the 2 Treble Tactical Talents, which we did swap out from the Dark Ruler No Mores. The reason being that for 2 reasons. 1, sometimes your opponent will still try to hand trap you throughout your combo, but your deck can play through hand trap really easily, which makes this card either a great way to either dig into more cards, or in a lot of cases, to look at your opponent's hand and rip out something like a Dark Ruler No More so you don't lose to it. More importantly, though, it's just the fact that in this given format, the boards are getting a little more resilient to Dark Ruler No More. You're either seeing boards of just Herald and then 4 hand traps of Heralds in hand, or you're playing Tri-Brigades and they have Revolt set, which makes Dark Ruler No More a little less interesting, but like this card here, a little more powerful. If your opponent attempts to negate with a hand trap, like a Herald, on your turn, these are live. If your opponent attempts to Revolt and then summon out Sure-Rig and then banish one of your cards, these are live. And that makes this card a lot more usable in a lot of situations going first or second.
Yeah, Dark Ruler also not being as much in the meta or as prevalent in the meta is really good because it makes this deck indirectly better. Yeah. Because now you're not losing to something like Dark Ruler.
Correct. You can now build a big board and not always have to fear Dark Ruler No More the same way.
Yeah.
And the last card we're playing is the 1 Gold Sarcophagus, because now you can banish something like Tempest and just get the free search. This essentially lets you get a Remus.
Nice.
That's something I learned from Phoenix Flare X. Just go check out his channel. He'll probably make a Dragunity profile soon. But I'm milking it until then.
Alright, take those.
We go to the extra deck now. We're still playing the 1 Dragunity Remus. You can realistically play 2, but we're playing a 14-card extra deck, so we're playing 1.
Yeah, Tony's specialty. But if you guys are playing 15, play the second one.
Yes, I absolutely play the second one. But again, like I said, sometimes you burn through your entire combo and just put out everything on one turn, and you just have to go Blood Simple. And usually this card lets you go Blood Simple a little easier. We have the 1 Heraldic Spheres. Bouncing is great. Summons out any dragon now, unfortunately. But it does summon out something like Graham or Tempest, which can now be brought back.
Nice.
We have the 1 Pisty, the remaining guard dragon of the 3. This still brings back monsters from the graveyard. That's really important. We have the 1 Buster Whelp to send our destruction towards the graveyard. We have the 1 Tri-Burst Dragon. This is only realistically there just to make your Pisty live. And we still have the 1 Darksteel, which now is used a lot more, given the fact that we can use this card to bring back a Synchro to make our level 8s a little easier.
Nice.
Finally, going to Synchros, we have the 1 Adrita Bear, Monster Negate, Barca, combo play, Savage, Omni Negate, Crystal Wing, Monster Negate, Gay Dirk, the main playmaker of your deck, still kind of gets blown out by Ash, and that's really unfortunate, but you make do with what you got.
Yep.
The one Vajrayana, usually for follow-up plays, but it is also at times a great level 8 synchro in your one turn, or if you really needed to, you turn this thing into a 3800 beater and hit for high damage. We have the one Irada Dragunity Tomb. This is, I guess, at least for Dragunity, we do have some level of an LP in our Tomb.
Yep.
The only difference is that this one summons out the monster with 0 attack, so you have to do something with this immediately, because it's not sticking on the field long. And then we have the one Trishula, Dragon of Icy Imprisonments. You make this using any 3 monsters by banishing them you control. And then when you do so, if you made them using 3 dragons, you banish a card from your deck. You banish 1 card from their extra deck and 1 card from the top of their deck. So it's extra deck grip, but realistically, it lets you banish something like your Trishula, or it lets you banish something like your Tempest to search. Or if you really wanted to, and you open the Chaos Dragon, you can banish then essentially any dragon and then search that way as well.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And that's going to do it.
That's your 14 card extra deck.
That's your 14 card extra deck. I could do a combo video. It's been a while since I've done this, but yeah, I can do a combo if you want.
You can do, yeah. I'm down for one combo.
So I'll shuffle my hand up, and we'll get back to you when I'm ready for that.
Perfect.
A few moments later.
All right, Tony, you finished up?
Yep.
All right, let's get this.
So we're going to have to do this inverse, and that's really awkward because I'm not used to that anymore. So hand we're going to work with is 1 Mist Valley Baby Rock. That could be really awkward. 1 Call by the Grave, at least we're not worried about hand traps. 1 Mistletoe. 1 Legatus and 1 Remus. Okay, so the Remus is pretty much saving our hand right now.
I was just about to say, I think the Remus saves your hand.
We're going to activate the Remus effect, and Remus is going to grab into our Dragon Ravine.
Okay.
Extract out of the way. We're going to activate that Dragon Ravine, and we're going to use Dragon Ravine. We're actually going to discard this Mistletoe. The reason, because Mistletoe is not always good. You want Mistletoe when you get into your Dragunity Glow, but in a lot of other situations, not so much.
Also, Baby Rock wouldn't trigger, right?
No.
Yeah.
We're going to normal summon out the Senatus, and we have a few options here. Realistically, we can discard this Legatus to get the equip, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do. But you also technically can special summon the Senatus and do the play as well. But we're going to discard the Legatus to activate Senatus effect, and we're going to equip, in this case, a Koos.
Okay, interesting.
We're going to special summon out the Koos. And we're going to synchro for 6. And out comes our Gay Dirk. We're going to activate Gay Dirk's effect, and we're going to add a Dragunity monster, or a level 4 Winged Beast or Dragon monster. In this case, I'm going to add that Phalanx.
Nice.
We're going to discard that Mist Valley Baby Rock. We're going to special summon out that Baby Rock, and we're going to link both of these out because, well, we special summon the Baby Rock.
Yep.
Make our Romulus. Romulus is going to trigger, and we're now going to grab into our Glow. Like I said, Glow is really good if you have... Mistletoe is really good if you have the Glow. Which is why, honestly, if you wanted to cut down the deck a little more, you can cut down the Mistletoes. Just because, realistically, the only time you're going to use it is through Glow.
It's through Glow.
So there's some combos where Mistletoe still comes in. But now a lot of the best combos work with Glow the most.
Okay.
I'm going to activate that Glow now, and you can use Glow to grab into a second Mistletoe. So I guess play at minimum 2, just so that if you had to discard the first one, you don't have none. We're then going to tribute the Romulus, special summon the Mistletoe. Mistletoe's effect is going to activate. We're going to equip the Gay Dirk. We're then going to banish out that Glow to summon out the Gay Dirk. We're going to activate Gay Dirk's effect once again. And we are going to get that.
Glow was a really strong card for this deck.
It is very powerful. We're going to grab that Zephyros and then discard that Zephyros. We're then going to overlay these two, both as level 6s, to summon out the Irada Dragunity Tomb. Now, this is the reason why we can't really play the Amorphage package, because we have to make this really early. We're going to detach the Gay Dirk, and we're going to summon out a dragon from our deck, of which we're going to summon out our main playmaker for the rest of this combo, our Levitine. Levitine is going to activate.
In this case, Levitine is more important than Red MD, right?
Right, because Red MD now, due to the Irada, is only once per turn.
Yeah.
So, bring it back does nothing. This is still not once per turn.
Yeah, okay.
So, you're going to have to work with this, and this is usually better. You're going to equip the Koos, special summon out the Koos.
Yep.
We're then going to activate the effect of our Zephyros, bouncing back the Dragon Ravine. We're then going to activate that Dragon Ravine and then discard the Phalanx. Send another dragon from our deck to the graveyard. You have a few options here. Realistically, I'm just going to send another Phalanx because we're going that kind of route today.
Okay.
We're then going to link these two away. Make our Buster Whelp. Use Buster Whelp's effect.
Yo, for a bad hand, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, this hand thing is, once you get going, your hand is crazy.
Okay.
It's just getting going sometimes is a little growing pains.
That makes sense.
We're going to dump our Buster Sword. We're then going to synchro these two. both a winged beast and the Koos as a level 4. Summon out that Barca.
Nice.
Barca is going to activate, and we're going to just equip everything we dumped. The double phalanxes, and we're also going to equip Romulus because we feel good that way.
Nice.
We're just going to summon out pretty much these two. Let's summon out the Koos first, because Koos is the worst one. Summon out these two. We're going to link one of these away, or whichever one gets us the Pisty live. Then we're going to link this away. Summon out the Triple Burst.
Yep.
Now Pisty and Triple Burst point to the same zone. We're going to activate that Pisty effect.
This is looking a lot like the combo from last time.
Yeah, that's the thing. The combo realistically hasn't changed. You do, unfortunately, don't end up with an additional extender, which means your end board will be a little different at times. You're going to activate this effect, then you're going to equip the Koos and special summon out the Koos.
Yep.
From there, we can do a few things. We're going to special summon out the Phalanx, and we're going to synchro these two to make a Irada Bear. We're then going to, actually, you know what? We're going to synchro with these two instead. Kind of want to keep the Phalanx for later.
Okay.
We're then going to link these two away, both as Dark Dragons. Summon out our Red MD, or our other Red MD, our Dark Steel. We're going to activate Dark Steel's effect. Summon out the Gate Eric.
Okay.
Effects are negated, that's unfortunate, but we take those. You synchro with the remaining Phalanx. Summon out the Savage. Savage then equips our Triple Burst. Finally, we're then going to banish this, summon back our Levitine, and then Levitine effect. We'll then equip our Buster Sword.
Yo, Levitine summoning back Buster Sword is so nasty.
Yes.
So now you have Savage Negate.
Savage Negate, 3 negates.
You have Buster Lock.
Yep. And we still have a Monster Negate. And technically we do have this as well, but the real benefit here is that we do this and we still have set up to our Dragunity. So here's the lowdown. Your opponent has to break this to get their extra deck. They have the Omni Negate to deal with. They have the Monster Negate to deal with. If they do not kill this, you can bring back another monster at the cost of not being able to link, which is fine because in conjunction with something like your Dragon Ravine here, you're allowed to search into whatever you need to then build your board from here.
This is kind of nasty.
Because at worst, let's say, for example, you can just summon back a monster for a beater. You can technically summon back something like this Irada Bear and just attack with it. But next turn, whatever card you draw, whatever it may be, you can discard it and then send any dragon from your deck to the graveyard. Preferably in this case, it's going to be your Armor Graham.
Yep.
Your Armor Graham can then banish just essentially any 3 monsters or any 2 monsters from your graveyard that are just dragon or winged beast, summon itself back. And now you have a free negate, but the nice part about this is that when you negate a monster's effect, it drops attack by 1,000 for each card equipped. You have 2 cards equipped, that means it's 1,000 attack drop, 2,000 attack drop as well, which makes your damage threshold to kill your opponent much easier. This is 2,900, this is 2,700, this is 3,300. Funny enough, I didn't mention this before. If this dies, you Heavy Storm the field.
Oh, okay. So you have a Heavy Storm plus a Monster Negate, technically.
Yeah. Then you still have the Savage. This is more than 10,000 points of damage on board.
Holy.
And this, thanks to and because technically we did play this, we are playing through a hand trap at minimum.
That's crazy. What?
Yeah.
Post ban list, too.
Yeah. There's chances are if you're looking for more combos, I can do more combos. When I eventually do my, I probably will be releasing this or a version of this same deck list on my channel.
Yeah.
Or I have at this point, given the time of release. So if you want, you can check out a different combo there. But I think that, honestly, if you're looking for a good dragon deck, this is the way to go. This deck is functional. This deck has great recursion. The only issue, and this is the thing you have to play around, this deck gets blown up by Droll. Given the amount of times I've added a card to my hand, if your opponent draws you early, as in if your opponent draws you on this Remus,
yeah,
you're kind of messed.
Okay.
On a different note, I also realized didn't use the Remus effect either.
Wait, so you did all of this without the Remus effect?
Yeah. The Remus effect would have been interesting because without the Remus effect, it also means that technically if they negate the Senatus, I still had my own way to go into my play.
So you still have the combo. Yeah, this is without the Remus effect. Holy.
Yeah. So for a hand that was, I guess, generally pretty subpar, we did pretty good. But it's pretty much usually accomplishable because we have cards like Remus and Glow in our available to us. But it produces some very powerful boards. If you're looking for dragon support and dragon combos, this is the way to go.
All right, well, thank you, Tony, for being on the channel. Like Tony said, it might already be on his channel, actually, but he'll have a deck profile and more combos on his channel. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free to go check it out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. You're at more than 1,200 subscribers now.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, congratulations, bro. That's pretty good.
Thank you for everyone who liked me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyways, but yeah, thank you for being on the channel. We all appreciate it, like always. And with that, Spanko and Tony signing off. Peace.